Welcome back to the Legacy Shift podcast. I'm so excited that you're here on this healing journey today with me. And today we're going to chat a little bit about what that healing looks like and why some people may not applaud for that healing. This episode is for every mother who is healing, growing, and realizing not everyone in your life is clapping at that evolution, but I'm here to clap for you. I want to normalize in this episode today how change often threatens people who have stayed the same. And we're going to dive into what that looks like a little bit as well. But I want to normalize that experience for all the parents who are doing the healing and who are taking action to ensure that they're changing generational patterns and healing. It's really important that we applaud those who are doing the healing because it's not easy and it's definitely worth it. It's not an easy route to take. It's not an easy parenting way of being, but we are here to normalize that change is okay and it needs to be celebrated. So let's dive into today's episode. The reality of healing is that it isn't just healing. You're actually creating a massive disruption in the way that things have always been done. So when you choose to heal any component of your life, but in regards to what we speak about in my podcast, we'll talk about the generational healing. So when you choose to do generational healing, it's creating a huge disruption of the ways that things have been done before. You're changing everything to almost a DNA level. And that is really hard for those who have come before us to understand. They sometimes may take it personally. They may feel like it's rejection. They may feel like it's boundaries that are being set, or maybe it's emotional stress that it's been putting on them. But healing, it creates this massive disruption. So what I'm finding is that there are those of us parents right now who have younger children who are maybe millennials. This is mainly who I speak to is the millennials. And if we're choosing to heal as we are, well, I'm finding that the previous generations either understand that we're making change and are accepting of it, or they don't understand and they're not accepting of it. And they're choosing to continue that route of silence and anger and frustration. People may resist our growth for a number of reasons. Number one could be boundaries can feel like rejection to them. This is currently something I'm dealing with. I've set boundaries, I've set guidelines, and often that's coming across as rejection. It's absolutely not. I'm choosing a different route, and I'm okay with choosing the different route of healing. I'm okay with choosing a different route of parenting, but it's coming across to previous generations in my lineage as rejection. And they are showing up as I've rejected them. So, case in point, when I first started speaking about generational healing on Instagram, I started it back in May of 2025. And within 3 weeks, I've had a number of people, my sister, my mother, aunts, and cousins unfollow my content. I will preface this by saying I was very cautious of my content back then. I wasn't actually outward talking about healing and why it needs to happen. I was still very much in a little bubble trying to appease people when I'm speaking about it. They could have felt that my showing up and speaking about healing and setting boundaries and speaking about how I'm making change, that I'm talking down on them or that they're just rejecting, right? So that is one of the reasons why people may resist or grow. Another is your emotional awareness exposes their emotional avoidance. So this is huge. Being aware of how we're showing up, being aware of how we're feeling, being aware of all these emotions and the awareness of the emotions, they may feel inadequate in how you're showing up with those emotions. They may want to avoid those big feelings that we're invoking in them. We're changing thought patterns. And as much as a parent, if you're sitting here and you're on this healing journey, you're not just healing future generations, but you're also healing past generations. And that can be very uncomfortable. Or if you're choosing growth and choosing change, often you're changing the narrative of who you are in their world. So that's also very uncomfortable for them. So it's easier for some of these people to avoid it altogether or pretend that you're not doing it. Easier for them to emotionally avoid it than to acknowledge that, hey, maybe there is some sort of healing that needs to happen. And I'm willing to go along this journey with her and support her. So there was two ways of going at it. You could have supported in that moment, or you can completely shut off. And they've chosen their journey. I'm not upset about it, but they've chosen their journey, and that's okay. Your healing also highlights what they haven't faced, right? So they have all these things that maybe they're just not willing to look at. And maybe that's not in their soul contract at this point in time, and that's okay. It's all about how you want to show up. A big thing that I like to speak about is acceptance. I've taken on the healing. I've taken it on for me because I know that my children will have a legacy that I want to create for them, one of healing, one of trust and emotional intelligence, one where they can express their truth and be who they are and feel free to ask questions and be seen as equal. And there is a movement going on, but I'd rather not see it. We're highlighting things they haven't faced, right? So by me saying, hey, I'm letting my children be emotionally capable, maybe they're looking at it like, well, I didn't do that and I never healed that and I don't choose to heal that. It's okay. I'm taking on what I choose is best for my family and they can continue doing what they choose is best for them. It's all about acceptance, but understanding where every person is, right? It's not identity. So for me, I take reactions as this is why I'm doing what I'm doing. This is why I know the things that I'm speaking about are so powerful and so important because there are people out there who are not willing to make that change, who are not willing to face the reality and make change and choose healing. They're choosing to live in the same way that they've always lived. They're choosing to shut down or turn a blind eye to it. And that's okay because at the end of the day, it's creating disruption, and that's very, very uncomfortable for people who aren't choosing to go down that route. Think about it. We're here healing. It's also creating disruption in our life, but we're welcoming it. We're accepting it. Those people who aren't willing and accepting it, they're just going to not want to acknowledge it. Alrighty, so let's dive into more why people don't celebrate your evolution. This is a very uncomfortable topic because as soon as we acknowledge that people don't celebrate our evolution, it's kind of like oh, am I the black sheep of the family? Should I be doing things differently? You know, it comes back to our kind of our roots of wanting to be accepted and wanting to be part of like a tribe. So a lot of times people who want to be part of the tribe, like, oh, no, we're not being celebrated in our evolution. I need to revert back or I need to go take on these old identities so that I can still fit in. So it's a little bit challenging in these moments when you're not being celebrated for your evolution. So let's go a little bit deeper into emotional psychology. A loss of control. So when you stop people pleasing and you stop doing things the way that people have always wanted you to do it in order to make them like you, in order to make you feel fit in, some feel like they've lost access to you. So if you're aware of this, if this has happened to you, I'd love to hear your feedback on it. But when you stop people pleasing, they lose access to you. So you're not doing things for them anymore. You're doing things for you. You're doing things for your generation. Pattern changes. You're doing things for your healing. You're showing up for you. You're putting your oxygen mask on first before you can show up for other people. And when you've always people pleased, that's very uncomfortable for those people because they're like, hang on a second, what happened to me being able to access you and you being able to do everything at my bidding or to show up for me and to make sure that I feel good first before you feel good. But in this moment, they're losing control and you stop people pleasing. Your growth also challenges their belief systems and their generational survival strategies. So it's an identity threat to them. We've talked a little bit about this just previously, but that's very threatening when something changes in a generational lineage. It's always been done this way, so it needs to always continue to be done this way is an old mentality that we're actively changing as a society, as millennial parents who are doing better for our families and generations because we know what is capable and we have the tools to heal at this point in time. But that can show up as an identity threat to growing. So that's one of the reasons why people aren't celebrating your evolutions because you're actually threatening their identity. There's also huge fear of change. Even loving family can fear who you may become. I'm doing this every single day. I'm showing up every single day. I'm putting things out on social media. I'm having conversations with people. I'm creating community. They're fearing who I may become and how I may show up online. There's a fear of change. Hey, you're changing. I noticed this a lot with my husband's family, actually. He went through this huge growth over the last since we've been married. So for the last like 15 years. One of the things that they kept saying to him is, Sam, you've changed. Sam, you've changed. Have you ever heard that quote of course I've changed. We're supposed to change. A butterfly changes from a caterpillar. A caterpillar doesn't say caterpillar, it changes into a beautiful, beautiful butterfly and spreads its wings and flies away. That's celebrated. Why as a human is it not celebrated when we have evolution of change, right? Oh, you've changed. Yes, we're supposed to change. We're supposed to grow. We're supposed to develop. We're supposed to learn and educate ourselves and be part of tribe and community and learn new things every single day. Like that's part of what human evolution is. But that's often feared. It's also comfort with the familiar, right? There's a lot of comfort with being familiar. Dysfunction is familiar. Healing is often foreign. We have so many tools at our fingertips. We have a lot of people being able to connect with through social media. We're able to create our own tribes. We're able to find people that are similar in healing to us and can support us in that healing. Our past generations didn't always have that, right? A lot of the things are pushed under the rug and met with silence, met with anger, not knowing how to deal with those emotions. But now we're in a day and age where we have that ability, but there's comfort in that familiar and that dysfunction is familiar to them. So these are some reasons why people may not celebrate your evolution. I'm here to celebrate you and your evolution. So we need to find the tribe to be able to celebrate that for you. I do have a WhatsApp community that I'm just launching. It's completely free and it's for moms and dads like us who are healing. And it's the tribe. I'm attempting to create beautiful souls and beautiful people who are on this healing journey so we can celebrate one another, inner evolution and inner healing. And I'd love to see you there if you're interested in that. The information's in the show notes, and I'd love to be you to be part of our community. It's called the Legacy Circle, and I'm just really excited to start this movement with all the other parents who are choosing to heal. When you're cycle breaking, there's lots of guilt that can show up. It's okay that it feels heavy. Guilt isn't proof that you're doing something wrong. It means you're doing something new. You're not doing something wrong. You're doing something new. Have you ever tried to when I was younger, I wanted to start kickboxing. So there is this kickboxing place that was 2 or 3 minutes down the road for me. I could walk there. The kickboxing class time was really early, like 6:30 to 7:30, and I wanted to start kickboxing, cardio kickboxing. It was at this great dojo, which I later ended up working at. But the point of this is that I was 16, so I needed a parent signature. At that point in time, a lot of things when I want to bring up physical activity were met with, nope, you can't do that. Nope, you can't do that. Nope, you can't do that. But being the 16-year-old that I was and the one who always wanted to try to find opportunity and make things work, well, I'm paying for it. It's 2 minutes from our house. I can walk there. I don't need anybody to drive me. And it's early enough that I can be home before it gets dark. So my mom ended up saying, yep, okay, I'll come sign the paperwork. That's fine. You're responsible for all the payments, et cetera, et cetera. Great. I was trying to do something new outside of what was normal in our everyday family life at that point in time. So it was met with objection. It was hard to do something new. And that's when that guilt comes up. It's the same can be applied to generational healing and changing patterns and breaking the cycles. It's hard. You can feel guilty doing it because you're going to be setting boundaries. You're changing who you are. You're changing your language. You're showing up differently, and that can come with a lot of guilt. But it's not that you're doing something wrong. It's that you're doing something new. So guilt shows up in healing through when old programming comes up. So similar to the adage of, hey, I'm cutting a roast. I always cut off the ends of the roast. Well, why do I always cut off the ends of a roast? Well, I asked my mom, and my mom always cut the ends of the roast off. And then my mom asked my grandma, she said, oh, I just cut the ends of the roast off because it wasn't fitting into my roasting pan. Right. So that's old programming. It's not, why are we keep doing the same thing? Right. We don't know the reason why if we didn't start it. Old programming can show up very easily on the healing journey, and quite often we can revert back to those old ways of being. Happens to me often. Happens to me so often. Like I realized yesterday we were having a birthday party for one of my sons, and my oldest is being very silly, as he does when there's a lot of kids around. So he was being silly and he was outside, and we're in Canada, so it's a bit chilly right now, and he was just wearing a t-shirt and shorts. And I said, hey bud, like you've got to get a sweater on. But I yelled it at him, and it was like, oh, and I realized in that moment, I'm like, hey, I'm reverting back to old programming where I have to yell at my kids to show them, like in front of other people, to show that I have a sense of control. It's okay. Like it didn't hurt him or anything. But I realized after, I'm like, no, like these are the moments that I can show up and do better. I can show up and change those patterns. I don't have to yell at him. Guilt shows up also when we have a fear of disappointing our family. So if you're doing something differently, fear of disappointment. If you're doing something differently, there's such a big fear of, well, they're going to be disappointed. This can come up a lot. We're coming up into holiday season. If you're in Canada, we just have Christmas coming up. Looks like Thanksgiving is coming up for the US. So this can come up a lot in holiday season, disappointing family. When you're changing patterns, you're changing ways of being, or saying, you know what, no, this holiday, I'm choosing something that may make people upset. That can feel like a lot of guilt. It can feel heavy. And we're also, unfortunately, we're brought up in a society where when we honor ourselves first, that's selfish. But it's not selfish, it's selfless. And I want to make that very distinctively clear. It's not selfish to show up for yourself, it's selfless, because you being able to honor yourself and honor your thoughts and honor your healing, that is so impactful. Think about then how your children will show up later in life when they can honor themselves first, right? If you're looking for a permission slip, here it is. You are allowed to outgrow versions of yourself people were more comfortable with. Okay. So let's dive into a couple emotional and practical signs that show that you're growing, but others around you may not be growing. So these are very subtle. So things like you're calmer in whatever situation, and they may be more reactive. One is going to react, one is going to be very calm. Okay. Case in point, yesterday, all the kids were outside and they started fighting. My dad gets up, he yells at the kids. I get up and I say, hey guys, time to come in, right? One's calmer, one's more reactive. So another subtle marker, you communicate directly and they avoid or manipulate. I did this actually very early on. I sent my mom an email, just a message saying, hey, I know that you've noticed my content has shifted a little bit. I want you to know that I love you and I respect you and I appreciate everything that you've done for me. This is not about you. It's about my healing. And it was met with silence. Another subtle marker is you say no and they take it personally. Or you're intentional and they want access without accountability. Another one is you may prioritize peace and they prioritize familiarity. What are some ways that you can look at what you're doing and self-identify without that shame? Celebrate that. That's worthy of celebration. If no one's going to clap for you, I'm clapping for you. And know that you're on an emotional journey of healing, of changing patterns, and of growing. I'm going to go into a little bit of a teaching. So how do we navigate the tension with compassion? It's very key to have compassion in these moments because, again, we're not trying to say you did something wrong and I need to completely separate myself from you. That's not what we're doing here, okay? We want to navigate the tension with compassion. We want to acknowledge the person and say, I see you. Thank you so much. I'm choosing differently. It's not betrayal. Okay. So, some scripts for you, maybe I'm choosing a different approach for my family. Hey, mom, I'm choosing a different approach for my family this Christmas, and we're going to stay home on Christmas Day. And we'd love to see you sometime during the Christmas season. Right. Or, hey, dad, I'm choosing a different approach for my family, and I'd love to have you over for birthday dinner on this day, but we're not doing a big celebration anymore. Another sentence you can use is, I hear you, but that doesn't align with how I parent now. So maybe someone says, hey, you just need to have a heavy hand. I hear you, but that doesn't align with who I am. That doesn't align with how I parent my children. It's very powerful. You're still being compassionate, but you're not betraying yourself. In these moments, it's very important to stay grounded in who you are. So don't over explain yourself. Don't shrink back, make eye contact, and also don't fight for approval, right? You don't need to fight for approval from people committed to misunderstanding you. They're going to misunderstand you whether you want to or not. You don't need to spend your time or your energy looking for that approval. I would like to highlight here, though, that compassion doesn't require closeness. So you can be compassionate, but it doesn't require you to be really close with that person. Your healing is the apology your lineage never received, and the gift your children will always benefit from. Loyalty is breaking the cycle so your children don't inherit the pain that you carried. You don't owe anyone your old self. Your evolution that you're currently doing, your evolution is the legacy. Remind yourself of these all the time. If you're having challenge with healing and feeling guilt and feeling uncelebrated, remind yourself that your healing is the apology your lineage never received. It's also a beautiful gift for your children, and they will always benefit from it. You may feel that as you go through this healing journey, that others may try to pull you back. This happened a lot with my husband's family when he went through his healing journey, and they kept trying to pull him back. Oh, why are you behaving this way? Oh, you're making us feel like this. Oh, you owe us this. Oh, I did this for you. Oh, come back here. Let's do this. They will try to pull you back. And some other supportive tools that I can give you to help with this is understand what your why is. Why are you healing? And really create a powerful why. I look at my kids every single day and I look at them and I say, this is why I'm healing. Because I see the difference that I've currently made, and I see the difference that I will continue to make by showing up as a healing parent, one that is looking for change and changing cycles. What is your why? And focus on that why all the time. Understand what your why is, why you're showing up differently, and why you're choosing to break cycles. Have a trusted circle to support your growth. Join my WhatsApp community for this. That's why I'm creating it, because I want to ensure that like-minded parents are supporting one another in this healing journey. It is very hard to do without support, and we are here to support you. Keep your new boundaries non-negotiable. So don't go back on boundaries that you've set. There are boundaries for a reason. Set them and let them be. And remind yourself that discomfort does not equal danger. It may be uncomfortable in the moment, but you're creating change and you're creating legacy. I am safe in my growth. I am allowed to change, and not everyone needs to understand me. So if you're having some challenges, feeling like you're being pulled back, these are some tools that you can use to help support you on that journey. True growth becomes peaceful when you stop needing applause. So if you're constantly looking for that approval from your family or from friends that are not growing, remind yourself that true growth comes from not needing an applause. It's in your inner being, it's in your whole body. The people who benefit most from your healing aren't going to be the loud ones who are pushing back on you. They're going to be the little ones who are watching you every single day. They're going to be the little ones who are watching you change the story every single time you choose differently and make change. Your healing will confuse some, anger others, but they will 100% liberate your children. If you're in this chapter right now and you want support, real community, and to join other cycle breaking parents who get it, come join the Legacy Circle in WhatsApp. Thank you so much for listening to this week's episode.